first of all, just a statement came out over the weekend regarding the club's approach in terms of finances and the National League and some players, etc. I was just wondering how tough a decision has it been to place a few members of your squad on furlough?
It's never easy when you're making decisions on players. It was never a strategy of ours from the start when we were bringing players in. It was no consequence of our recruitment coming into the club. Subsequently, obviously, the National North and South has been suspended, which has affected the decision making at this stage. And obviously, we can review that once we know what the vote is, and also once we know what's happening with the funding, because obviously funding was meant to come in and it hasn't come in either. So those two prongs, if you like, coming in into our knowledge has affected what our decision making is, and it's a business decision.
Can you understand why there's been a mixed response to the club's approach in terms of the use of the furlough scheme?
I can understand it, but also people are making opinions, obviously, when they don't know the whole facts of what's happened. And there's fors and against, but ultimately, I've said it before. It's a board decision. It's the finances come down to the board, and you're best placed asking those questions to obviously the board.
Just final one around this, in terms of the vote today, have you got sort of any feelings or indication about how that might go?
I haven't. No, I'm just concentrating on ourselves. Again, I'd like to concentrate on the positives on the field, and there's many of those.
In terms of the performance then at the weekend, a game that had absolutely everything by all accounts, what did you make of your team's display at Dagenham? Magnificent display. There's been some adversity thrown at us out of our control in the last 6 weeks in games. I could reel them off from staying 11v11 on January the 6th against Solihull, which is amazing really, how it was 11v11. To losing that game, to the decisions obviously in the Wrexham game last week as well, and then to go down to 10 men in those circumstances, to roll our sleeves up and to go ahead twice and have the same penalty area entries as our opponent, 14 each in a game when we've got 10 men for 88 minutes because we played 4 on each half. Credit to the boys, credit to the lads, and it shows we're in a good place. Seen some very impressive statistics around Hayden Hollis's contribution at the weekend. Did he epitomise the contributions of all your players?
Yeah, we're really making it count in both boxes, and Hayden's a major part of that in both boxes as well. He's scoring goals, making goals, but also, first and foremost, as a defender, you want to keep the ball out the net, and our goals against column is very good. I think that we're disappointed a little bit with the first goal. Pressed in the wrong areas and got caught out. From Dagenham's point of view, it's a good goal. From their point of view, some good football. And the second goal is obviously sometimes you have to take your hat off and applaud and think, well, that's a great goal, and it was from Deering. Very technical player, caused us problems in the second half when he came on, but overall I thought we managed him quite well, and we managed out the game quite comfortably in the end. But some decision making out of our control has affected the scoreline again, and it can't keep happening. I'm most disappointed about the 72 minutes where the ball's gone out of play and the substitutes controlled it and played it back to their player, and that was their disallowed goal. Now, it was clearly offside, but how it's got to that stage and they've been able to play a quick throw is beyond me.
Well, in terms of the red card decision on reflection, James, was that harsh complaints with it?
I think it's the inconsistency of it. If you look at the game yesterday, Liverpool game, where Henderson's been booted in the head and the player's not even received a booking, where's the consistency?
Yeah, very frustrating. I mean, in terms of the character your team showed in the last 2 away games, two very different games, but to get through, to not lose those games, to get a couple of points, you must be pleased with what's been demonstrated to you.
Very pleased. You never know how the game would have gone on Saturday. Obviously, we were in the complete control for the first 10 minutes as the away team in the ascendancy, but you don't know how is that going to prolong in the game. You never know. I don't like to speak about things that haven't happened, ifs and maybes. What we do know is the team reacted really well to the sending off, gone ahead twice. We knew they couldn't defend very well on second phases, and we've got 2 goals from second phases on set plays, which is really impressive and part of the game plan. And restricted them really to minimal chances. So got to be pleased. got to be very pleased with the attitude and the togetherness of the players, subs included. And we move on now, obviously, to a home game tomorrow. And like you said, unbeaten in 2 away games, so that's positive.
7 in 9 now for Kwasi Asante. Has he potentially had an even bigger impact than you thought he might do?
No, he's a top player, top character as well. He's slotted in great. He's his overall play as well. His hold-up play, his work rate, desire, and there's different type of goals he's scoring as well is very impressive. Whether that's on the breakaway, whether that's a tap in, dribbles and goals, one-on-one. So he's scoring all sorts of goals, which is really really impressive from my point of view as a coach.
Will you have the same squad for Kings Lynn that you had at Dagenham at the weekend? Anyone back? Anyone fresh missing?
Obviously, Jack comes back into the reckoning because it was a one-match suspension. We have appealed the Tom Whelan one, and we're waiting to hear because there's no intent from where I can see. There's no intent at all, and like I said, there's been some inconsistent decisions going on. We'll see. We can only do our bit, so we'll wait and hear on if Tom's available. And other than that, everyone's available. That was available for selection on Saturday.
Do you know if you'll hear back on Tom Whelan before the Kings Lynn game?
We hope so, but we'll see.
In terms of Kings Lynn, then, a bit of a mixed bag really this season. What have you made of them, and what do you expect in the game?
Well, they've got a very experienced coach and knows his stuff. We have to respect every opponent, and we won't be taking Kings Lynn lightly at all. Like you said, they're inconsistent, similar to Dagenham. They pick up good results, they pick up not so good results. They haven't won a league game for a while, so we want to obviously start on the front foot, make our home ground count, if you like, and our home form's been impressive. So I see no reason why we can't push on and get the 3 points.
I mean, it's fair play to them how competitive they have been. Obviously promoted last season, it's been a quick rise for them. Are they a team that you know from your time at Gloucester?
Yeah, we didn't go against them because obviously COVID came, and then when we were supposed to play them, the game was called off. So obviously they came into this division. So I haven't gone against them yet, but they've obviously been financially backed by the owner since he's gone in there. They've got back-to-back promotions, and they'll be looking to stay in the National League and trying their utmost. They've obviously had a few additions that we know very well in Tyler and obviously Kawamia, so they've got a couple of additions from us, and if they play, I'm sure that'll add a bit of spice to the occasion.
I'm sure it will. Points to prove for both of them, do you think? You mentioned a few weeks ago that there will be casualties as you go on this journey that you're going on.
Yeah, I can't comment on that. I don't know what their mindset's going to be, but whenever a player comes back to their old stomping ground, there's always a point to prove whether they've had a good time or a bad time. So I'm sure they've got that in their locker. But as I say, I'm focused on ourselves. We'll plan for what we need to plan for, and treat them as players at Kings Lynn, and with no emotion really on those decisions or how our game plan works out. We've just got to concentrate on ourselves now. After 2 away draws, can we back it up now with a home win? It's a big night for us.
Well, I hope you do, James. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, James. Good to speak to you.
Hi, Liam.
Just to go back to the Dagenham game, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the disallowed goal for George Carline. Just looking back, it didn't really look like a foul, and if anything, it looked possibly a foul on Lawrence Maguire.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to be drawn in too much on the officiating of the game. I think it's quite clear that quite a few decisions have gone against us in the game. It's not for the first time in the last 6 or 7 weeks. It's an accumulation which has probably cost us 7 points at the moment. It's fair to say 7 points. If you add 7 points onto our tally now, we'd be on 31 in a lot healthier position. So, yeah, it's disappointing, but we can't control that. We can only control what we can control. I call that uncontrollables. Like young players at this level, sometimes youngish referees or whatever, they're developing as well. We have to understand that, and that's the level, and they want to progress themselves, and it's human nature. You're going to make some mistakes. It's not intentional. The referees are there. They're doing their best job, and so the officiating. The real frustrating one for me was the 72 minutes one, where the subs clearly controlled it and played it back to the player, and they've scored an offside goal. But it shouldn't get to that stage. That's criminal for me, that one. But the other ones, it's subjective, the other decision making, and we can't control that.
And the Tom Whelan challenge, it's high, I suppose, but it's clearly no intent. It's not deliberate, and he's sort of on the turn, isn't he? And it's just a coming together. Is that how you view it?
Yeah, we'll see what the appeal says. We've gone down the right channels. I've had communication with the referee after the game and etc. And like I said, it's never. I'm not angry or disappointed or anything like that with the decision making. It happens. It's human nature. We make mistakes, but it seems to be accumulation against us at the moment. And I hope it evens out a little bit. But obviously, it hasn't at this stage. But I'm sure it will over the season.
And I thought it was a really confident performance by Adam Prybeck in goal. How's he settled in his first 2 games, do you feel?
Yeah, I expected him to settle in well, which he has. He's a confident boy, and we're helping him obviously on his development path where he's looking to step up at this level now. He's ready. I've studied his game. He's ready for this level, and yeah, it was a confident display. Some good saves, a couple of good saves. Very confident coming out for things. Good communications for a young player at 20. So yeah, he's got a bright future in the game.
And Marcus Dinanga as well. He's sort of settling in nicely, and probably one of his better performances since he came in. Really led the line well, I thought.
Yeah, excellent. I had to leave him on the pitch because he got us up the pitch, but he ran out of energy. He's still feeling his hamstring a little bit from the Boston game, so we have to be careful with that one. Can't lose him. It was disappointing for me because I thought in the first 10 minutes him and Kwasi were building up a good little understanding there. They were causing problems, and obviously I had to drop Kwasi deeper, which affected the partnership. It's going to happen with 10 men, but I thought in the second quarter of the first half, the last 20 minutes, we were really in the ascendancy, and I thought those two still caused problems, even though Kwasi was dropping in deep and joining in late. So it seems like it's got the partnership there's got some positives there to look forward to, and I'm looking forward to seeing them work together closely again.
And we can't talk about Hayden Hollis without mentioning that piece of skill for the second goal. What have you been feeding him on?
I've been calling him Berber for the last 2 days. So, Dimi Berbatov, outstanding skill. And, I was surprised. I turned around and pulled a few faces after that one when the Kwasi put the rebound in. So, yeah, it was class.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Morning, James.
Hi, morning.
Saturday's match started exactly as Dagenham Redbridge supporters had feared. Did Whelan's red card completely upset your game plan?
Yeah, of course. It's going to, because when you go down to 10 men away from home, especially obviously coming out of isolation, I know I keep saying that, but it's affecting the energy levels as well, and the whole game plan is to bring the substitutions on at the right time, etc., to freshen it up. But in the end, you're bringing on substitutions because your back's against the wall and you're trying to cling on for the point there. So, yeah, it affected it. But I thought we were the better team in the first half, even with 10 men. We had more shots on goal, more penalty area entries, more final third entries. So we really looked in the ascendancy. Obviously, at half-time, when the opponent gets to regroup, and Daryl's an experienced manager at this level, he made a couple of substitutions. And fair to them, they obviously got on their ascendancy in the second half, which was probably always going to happen, 10 against 11. But to only concede the fantastic strike from Deering in the second half is impressive.
Previously, it would have been unlikely that any Chesterfield team would survive 80 plus minutes and gain a point. It seems that you've brought resilience to the team. How do you think you've done that?
Well, as I've said before, and it's not just about me, it's about the environment, and that's my staff, George, Dave are doing a great job, and Dan, the analyst, they're working really hard behind the scenes, and there's a lot of work going in beyond me as well, not just my influence on the team. Some great work going on, and the environment's really positive. And I think if you're enjoying what you're doing every day and you're enjoying coming in, you get the best out of each other. And I think if you train how you want to play, you can overcome adversity easier. And we certainly did that at 0-0 to go down to 10 men, take the lead twice. I'm really impressed. But it's forgotten now. We've got to look forward in 24 hours' time. Also, we're looking into Kings Lynn, and it's a home game, and we want to get on the front foot. We want to be positive. We don't want to be dragged down by the uncontrollables and the decision-making out of our control. And we'll go into the game in a positive frame of mind, and we're looking to win.
With the National League North and South suspended, have we brought any lone players back?
Yeah, we're just waiting for the vote to go through. So as soon as we know more, then we can obviously act upon that. But at the moment, we don't know. So as soon as we know, we'll act as a club.
With the losses to injuries of Tyson and Denton, is Luke Rawson back in your thinking?
Possibly not at the moment though, because we just, as I said, we've just got to wait for this vote and then decide what's best for Luke. Because the last thing I want to do is drag him back and then he doesn't get any game time. He needs game time. So let's see what unfolds in the next 48 hours. I believe there's the vote's going on in that time period. So let's see what happens and then act from that.
It's often been said that there's no easy games in this league. What threats do you see Kings Lynn presenting?
They move the ball well. They're expansive in possession, so they can hurt you. They score goals, so they've got that in their locker for sure. But on the flip side of that, we've got to concentrate on ourselves. How can we cause them problems? How can we manage the ball, dominate the space and the ball, which I want to do in every game, which we achieved certainly in the first 25 minutes against Bournemouth and the first 25 minutes of the second half against Bournemouth, and certainly the first 10 minutes of the Dagenham game we were very much in the ascendancy. So I've been really impressed by our starts, and we've got to make sure we start like that tomorrow evening.